Okay, hello, welcome to Getting Out of the Kitchen. There's a certain amount of readiness to not use the kitchen by people like me who've been single my whole life and who don't really want to be a homing kitchen. I've, relentlessly bought, kitchen supplies over my life, and I would say that it's been a waste of money and time and energy. I would have benefited more from eating at restaurants. Um, but as a health expert, in myself, I would say that would mean study, of course. You have to study to eat at restaurants. You can't just eat at restaurants. I would replace this time with study time, like, my favorite high performance food scientist, for example, as of now, and not do things about these things anymore. There are benefits to all sorts of things in the kitchen. First of all, there's anthropological benefit. It's from settlers till now, from early settlements anthropologically, early humanity till now. What it means that those kitchens or societies that learn how to do things out of kitchen until all these societies come together in the same kitchen kind of thing. Like there's tons of stuff out there. And also from material and make and supply, why is it important to know these things? Could be as easy as what's beneficial for your health from this era, going all the way back to thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, all the way back all those years ago, centuries ago, millennia ago. And it's not always intuitive. We don't always have the right answers, and sometimes you have to actually find societies that still keep those answers intact, organizations that still use those resources. So, it's not just throwing things away, but there is a certain amount of respect that, could be had for the kitchen, such as don't throw it away, give it away to recognize when you don't want those things, or sell those things would be a really good idea. If you don't need the social recognition, okay, because you've had a long cooking history, for example, then please, by all means, sell it so you have the cash and don't waste it, invest it, not throw away. Don't throw stuff away, But there's also something that can be said about these different, appliances and different, resources for cooking that would show that we can have kind of a society together because of these things. Okay, so I'm a non-self-sufficient society. I'm a pure market society. I'll go to the places where organizations or society socials have stood at attention at their settlement, where they stand and where they live a lot of their lives to give me things that I can give them money for. I bring money, which is very light, and they give me meat, for example, cooked meat. They do my cooking, they do my cleaning, they save my time. I can do it on the way to work. I can do it on a plan. That's one way to think of it. Another way to think of it is also organization. You're used to organizing your society, your social around these things, these implements, these resources, these kinds of ways of cooking or eating. And, if you're not eating all day, like you're just eating once a day, it won't be necessarily the same. You could eat all your OMADs together with other people, or people like me would just eat it usually by myself. And I find that more convenient. So if I go to restaurants, I'm also around other people who are eating, which is kind of an added bonus. I get all the benefit of everyone eating together, which is them, and the benefit is what? You get a social that is paying money to an establishment that gives you better, maybe visual perspective. You get nicer stuff, nicer walls, better paint, nicer decor in the environment, Together, by paying a business, you can get the best things out of life. And you don't have to eat it at home. You don't have to do those things at home. You don't have to do things that somebody had the special desire to know you and do these things about you. Well, it's not me. I'm getting old. So, when I was young, I was like, I'm going to do this thing, so I'll do the best I can. I'm like, well, no, I was not doing those things. Okay, so getting to the next point would be something like, if you don't need it, then you don't need to do things about it. You don't need to buy it, you don't need to store it, you don't need to pay money for it to be stored or paid for. You could sell it if you have it and get the money back as much as possible. So otherwise, you got to remember a few things. You have a social. A lot of these things, when people start to not want things like this, they need to pay attention to the fact that they're going to rebound. They're going to want it again. Or they're going to rebound because, they don't know how to handle their social. I don't want to do this. I gave this one away, or I sold this stuff, but this one item I can't really deal with because this is like a personal memory. A lot of this stuff goes back to personal memories, and that results in the rebound. Because this one thing is necessary, all of it is necessary. And so you have to kind of think, like, what do you really mean that you want it or don't want it? And if you're sure, then you can. For me, I'm old. I'm like Oh, well, I wasted so much time and money on this stuff, but I do know what this is. One day it'll have anthropological relevance. I'll understand different societies and stuff, and that's really cool for me. Um, okay, so here's a list of things that I haven't been using in a while, even in the last week, but sometimes further back, depending on how much I've used it. I've stopped using all major appliances, all small appliances. I have used a coffee machine. There's a small list of things that I have used that I'm getting off of right away, okay, because I've given it away now, and I've dealt with these home resources, and I'm not going to have to pay for maintaining the space. So, hi. So saving space is a really good idea because if you save space, you don't have to pay money for it, and you don't have to plan to pay money for it. If you want to be rich and be an investor kind of thing, you could still be like, I could still buy space when I'm rich to rent to others or to sell and that kind of thing, or to do other things. But basically, there are some good ideas, and if you don't want this lifestyle, it doesn't mean you don't ever make use of business to set up things that people can use. Anyway, for me, I don't want to do these things specifically. Okay, because I actually have other plans. I'm OMAD, eat once a day. You know, this is if I eat more, it's because I need to. I need to catch up on nutrition and learn what to adjust and stuff. But that's okay. That's all good. Okay, so here's examples of things that I don't use. Okay, stoves, ovens, refrigerators and freezers. Imagine all that time saved cooking, cleaning, all that, decreasing, just about everything that goes with that. I'm not missing it. I'm okay without it, but lots of people love it. They mean they want to do these things together and stuff like that. That's who they are. That's their social. It's not me. Dishwasher. I haven't used one in years, except like Office has one, honestly, and it's like doing it by hand was actually better. I always did it by hand at home, and the dishwasher at my business is not as good as washing by hand. That's my argument. Dishwashers need to wash clean dishes. Not dirty dishes. So you put clean dishes in the dishwasher to clean them, not dirty dishes. Rinse them off with water. Make sure it's clean, squeaky clean first, then put them in. Somebody has a super rich dishwasher and everyone else thought every dishwasher was the same. Okay, I'm telling you, it's just not true. Even industrial dishwashers cannot do it. Industrial dishwashers, room size of a room, you wash it off first and then it goes through. Okay, and that's like room size, like it's gonna fill the whole room. And like not like those small boxes, like boxes in working space, not a wash box or it's a machine kind of thing, a box machine. No, it's like this thing will fill the room, and that's not the other space encounters. It fills the room. It's massive. It's the same. Even the small ones, I was dishwasher before. You gotta wash the dishes first. When people don't understand that, they get it wrong. Wash the dishes first. There's some industrial washers where they brag, where they can never have to wash it first. I don't know what that was. I don't want to know them. They ruined every dish I ever got. Vent hood, exhaust fan. Don't need it because I'm not cooking. Microwave oven. I don't need it because I don't use them. Wine fridge. I don't drink. Go to the if you want a microwave oven, go to the 7-Eleven, grab your meat, put it in, or whatever you eat. Pizza pop, put a pizza pop in, I guess. But if you put a pizza pop in there, you're probably going to need to buy one. Addictive food is not that easy to control at home. If you're used to being hungry at home, then this is not for you. I'm satisfied. So, wine fridge mostly anyway. Wine fridge. $250,000 in the bar gives you all that wonderful aesthetic. Plus, you get a glass of wine. You go once in a while instead of having one a day at home or something. It makes way more sense to not buy any of that and just a little bit twice a year. Come on, way easier. If you're a super wine lover because you have like religious roots in wine, then you might want to do winery tours and do the whole thing, but that's super rich. Beverage centers, I don't need one. I love sparkling water, but I've already drank my water. Like if I do water fasting, for example, or dry fasting, I just drink my water at once. I love the sparkling water and all that, but then I've had mine for the day. I don't need to keep it with me. I don't need a crushed can vibe where I'm storing cans. Now, if I'm drinking tons of canned water, then I can store it, but it's actually easier not to use the space and time and stuff like that. It's something like just drink your water once a day and get on with your life. That's my style though. Okay, so that's kind of what this is. It's kind of like a more ancient lifestyle where I'm just eating and then getting on with everything, as if I know who I am, for example. You know. Okay, toaster ovens. I haven't used that stuff in forever because I don't eat those foods. But if you love those things, then I don't know what to do about it. You're gonna have to, I'm looking at addictive lifestyles when I see things like toasters, blenders. My caution to blenders is like, while I'm glad they're gone, they were wonderful while they were there. Um, Never cook something unpalatable in a blender, please. Whatever you put in, make sure it tastes good. It's a good idea, but don't eat bad food. Food processor, Sierra standard mixer. I don't know what that is anyway. Standard. What are you processing? Your food? Okay, well, this is processing your food. What's a food processor? I'm not sure. Uh, a stand mixer, hand mixer. I'm not using anything like that. Electric kettle. No, I don't use that. I use a water tank still, but I don't have to boil water. I think it has hot and cold, but I don't use the hot anymore. So I actually don't boil water. I've had a hot and cold water tank, and I'm only on cold water. And I'm done with cold water, so I'm gonna get rid of the water tank soon, because I just want the hand bottles. So I'm gonna just go for room temperature water, and I buy my water. I don't drink it out of the tap because I don't like tap water. So slow cooker. Food is a thing that I spend money on, right? I don't spend money on tons of stuff. I spend money on water. Okay, slow cooker, instant pot. Don't need it. I was going through those phases, earlier this year to buy and try, but I don't need it. It didn't turn out the way I wanted. I was like, I get it. I can cook a nice soup or something. I don't want any. So I'd rather just go do something more easy. Rice cooker, air fryer. I want high energy and less work. Bread maker. If I eat tons of electrolytes, by the way, then I can do all the work in the whole wide world, just like that. But it's something like when I have that high energy, this is not what I want to be spending time on because I have tons of electrolytes. I want to be spending money on buying more electrolytes. I want to go earn money. Air fryer, bread maker, frying pans. I don't use it. If there's a bread maker idea, you want a good bread maker kind of concept. I wonder if almond flour would make good bread. I know that it makes good bread, but I don't know if it makes good bread in a bread maker. I don't know how to make bread that much because I know the process. I get it, but I haven't really spent time on it, so I don't. I haven't lived with those results. But when I was younger, I mean, bread makers were real. People love bread makers. Frying pans and skillets, don't need them. Saucepans, don't need them. Other people cook, I go visit them, and if they invite me to eat with them, for example, that's fine. I don't have a problem with people having kitchens. Obviously, that's good for them. I think if they have their own settlement, and they settled their area, and they have people that they invite or do things about, and they benefit for their own benefit. So saucepans, stock pots, Dutch ovens, saute pans, lids, woks, roasting pans, sheet pans, cookie sheets, muffin tin, cake and loaf pans. I had a Christmas sheet, and 7-Eleven makes good cookies, but it's tough to eat them too much sugar and stuff. It's tough to eat too much cookie. So, but anyway, I have my Christmas cookie. I don't want to bake cookies. I mean, I haven't had cookies all year, and I had some at Christmas. So I'm like, okay, but I don't want to actually have to make them. Muffin tin, cake and loaf pan, pie dish, cooling racks, baking stone or steel, knives of so many varieties for different purposes. Okay, and shears and all that kind of thing. I'm not preparing, fish or, meat or things like that anymore. I'm not worried about eating the whole animal. I'll find different restaurants that sell different parts of the animal. But no, I don't need more. Wooden spoon, silicone, spatulas, slotted spoon and ladle, tongs and whisks and fish turners and potato mashers and can openers and wine openers and bottle openers. Meat thermometers, for cooking to make sure that it's the right temperature. Microplane graters, dry measure cups and spoons, liquid measuring jugs, mixing bowls, glass prep bowls, cutting boards. Strainers, pet stools, grinders, rolling pins. Juicers, I don't even eat those foods, so I'm like, I don't eat any of it. But then it was like, if there's a bit of something in my future, it's kind of like for now, it's like just find it at the restaurant. But it would cost a fair bit of cash to discover, I think, the places that really know how to do the things that I want to eat, as if I had a cheat food. I'm not just any cheat food. I'm not just junk. I mean, cookie was my like that is as bad as I get. That and like a margarita that's free at work. Okay, well, not at work actually. Technically, it's a lounge, and they just give me free margaritas on Thursday. I think they invited me over and over again because I have this poster out, and I actually just went once. But anyway, before Christmas, and it was something like I really want to do it all the time. It's actually less awesome if you do it twice. I mean, you do it once, it was like okay. By the time I went once, I was like okay, I'll try, and then I'm like I don't really enjoy being on the drinking crowd. It's not that much fun for me. But I'm still open-minded a little bit to trying non-carnivore options. To be like I don't want them, that's fine. I'm okay with them. I have a good relationship with those memories, and then kind of like find things that make sense. Then I can be like, okay, no, I go back more toward carnivore, and then I can always plan to put in a keto or even to try to regress to a really high quality carbohydrate thing way later. I'm not even worried about that. It's something like I only want quality though. I'm absolutely done with no skill involved in my future. So in terms of like food preparation, it's really important to have good food. So bread boxes, wraps, and plastics and foils and all that kind of stuff. Carrying things with you. Putting in your bag. I don't want to remember any of it. I don't want things to carry. I don't want to remember it. I want to go elsewhere with a body. Remember those things for me. I have now memory savings, time savings on my memory. I don't need that all day. I can think of the things that I wanted to earn and not even allow myself to do that. So I'm like, no. Autonomic system must go no. Autonomically pushing aside because it's like I autonomically must not allow people to do that with me because I must do those things for myself by going to the restaurant and not think about it all day. Just go to the restaurant or go to have an organization where somebody does this for you. That is fine. Somebody brings it to you. Perfect. But I don't need to. I need to have time to earn, which is I'm not a huge earner. I'm not that huge of an earner, but it was something like I need a basic attitude where my thoughts aren't savings, so I can think about how to earn. And it's not dear, it's not friendly. It's just like I needed to eat. It's all it is. And I absolutely love it when I get a good social with that. But I need to make sure that I'm not spending a year trying to figure out how not to do things I don't need to do. I need to get to the point. What I need is it already at the location for me, that kind of thing. Dish towels and oven mitts, cutting board and sanitizer. I don't need memory work all day long. Fire extinguishers, first aid kits. Well, that's random, but no more home kitchen questions. Was it stove on? Yay! I don't have to deal with all that. Compost bin, recycling bin. Okay, and then some ancient concepts of what it might mean to revisit, ideas of I guess technology. I don't know what this stuff is, but it looks like technology or something that might have represented healthy lifestyles that I don't really understand or do things about. I don't know what that is. Let's look at what that is. Why is there a moratorium on there? That sounds bad. Bad. Moratorium. Moratorium. Oh, earthenware, yeah. So you gotta be like, is it good or bad for you? It actually could be bad because like some of the stuff might actually be bad for you to an extent. So then it has to be like, what stuff is good for you and what stuff's bad of the same variety and why. Romans used to have lots of, I think, lead, using lead for their water systems. So they were poisoned and stuff like that. Anyway, good luck. Good luck. I hope that's useful for you. I'm still working on a few items like I'm limiting the spoons, chopsticks, cups, water cooler supply, dispenser, coffee maker, dish soap, and dish rag, and because I prepare supplements at home and for the day, and I think today is my last. I'm going to get rid of the coffee maker use. Okay, because it's actually something like I don't want to drink coffee at home. It's really, really disruptive for me. But I enjoyed it, I guess. And stuff like this would be like just eat the OMAD. Eat when you need it. You don't need a cup. You don't need to do these things. Learn how to use the bathroom. Stop needing to buy all those things. Learn how to eat. And then take care of yourself, and then wait till the next day, and then don't have to continually, pursue these items as if they're necessary. I'm ready for a market that's standing ready at the counter. I can buy what I need, recycle as I need to, and get on with it. Go to the restaurant, whatever it takes, get nicer stuff, but spend less money doing it on average. So I'm going to lower my cost here, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to add to the list. See here, I got a dish soap, dish rag. These are things to finish using. Coffee. Oh, by the way, drink coffee once, for a week. Drink coffee for a week. It's my idea because that's me. My body type. I learned it finally. I'm like, I need coffee. Then I'm like, I need coffee for about a week, and then I'm done. After that, there's no benefit. After that, it's like just stop it and don't have a plan to restart until you start thinking like later. Well, I can do a coffee again or something like that. I think that's best for me. Other people do 2 weeks. Some cool people do 2 weeks. Other people just do 1 cup a day. I'm more of I'll just drink whatever I feel like, but just a week. After that, it's not a benefit. Okay. Let's see here. Water cooler supply. I've got to get rid of this. This one's an expensive one, but not yet. I'm going to go to hand bottles. It's a little bit more money for the hand bottles, but I think it's worth it. Because it'll be room temperature water for me. Let's see here. I guess I won't add to the list right now. I gotta think. There's spoons. I use a spoon. I use a chopstick. Measuring. I gotta use my measuring tools for supplements. But I'll find probably other space for that. Oh yeah. Kitchen space at work. I would actually like to reduce the use of kitchen space at work. I don't mind using kitchen space at work, but I don't want to wash my own dishes and put them back in. So the deal is they're actually not that clean. They don't really know how to use it. So I'm satisfied with not using these resources. People don't really know how to clean their dishes, and I'm not that excited when I drink out of it. Kind of like, from home sparkling water cooler tank to dirty cup. So I'm like, okay, surprise. No, it's not that obvious, but people know how to clean. I don't expect them to know how to do that. Okay, I don't expect them to know how to clean a cup. That's what I mean. I don't expect that they know how to do that, and I'm okay with that. Ultimately, if you had to inquire, do you know how to clean a cup? They could be like, well, these are things you do. Do you suppose you could do that? But anyway, I'm going to do something else. I won't ask. Also very dear. I hope they all love their lives and live each to their own wish, their heart's content, because there's absolutely nothing going on. I'm drinking my amino acids. After the first time I use it, it's just stained with amino acid. And I'm starting to think that that's when I like drinking from it more. Okay. But anyway, so I got to start thinking eliminate work cups. But I want my amino acids and stuff like that. So I'm going to think about it. I might just actually revert to more expensive water form, for example, or just do a water fasting form. Well, I get what I want, but I get it delivered in a way that's really useful. I got to find a really cool utility system. What am I going to do about those things about what I need? Yeah. And then I think it's good to do. So I wish you the best and take care.